Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester, and I'm sure you are too, because you're watching content like this. The name of this channel is Manifesting Magic the Practical Way, because there are a lot of practicalities when it comes to manifesting the magic, the life that we choose. Today I'm going to be brief. I always say that, but maybe it's true today. I am going to discuss two major mind shifts that happen when you have gone through a spiritual awakening. Now, I'm a firm believer that spiritual awakenings and like new mountains to climb happen constantly over and over in our life. And if we're doing it right, we continuously go through this process, right? One of the biggest shifts that I notice that happens on the inside of a person when they're going through a spiritual awakening, two of them I'm going to talk about today, but the biggest one that I noticed is the reluctance to blame others for anything that's happening in their lives, right? So that's not to say that you don't have really specific things that have happened, that there are specific people who are responsible for this negative thing that happened to you, right? That is a given. There's always going to be that case. But the point of the matter is that when you have a spiritual awakening and you actually shift in your mindset, you realize that you don't really have time to blame other people for anything that's happening in your life, right? You realize that any time spent talking about what someone did to you, how they did you wrong, how they didn't treat you right, any theys, you realize that's more time that you're wasting that you can be given to your purpose and to elevating and expanding and evolving yourself, right? I find that to be a very common phase of immaturity to maturity is when I meet someone, and depending on how they choose to approach the problems or the issues in their lives, I can tell a lot about who they are. I was talking to a young lady, and I call everybody young ladies, but she was probably my age. But I was talking to her, and she was talking about marriage possibilities and about being married. And I was telling her that it's not something I truly care about in a deep sense. That it's just not. If I did it, it would be for so many different reasons, and those reasons have not shown up in my life at this time. So she was talking about just the chances, and she started adding in things like, what is it called? Like stacking the cards against herself. She started talking about age, and then she started talking about income, and then she started talking about the chances in race and ethnicities. Like if she wanted a particular race or ethnicity, what are the chances? And just like the society today, these are just the options, And I was listening to her thinking, there's a very scarcity mindset sitting behind what she's saying. It sounds pleasant and it sounds truthful, like, nice, solid information you'd share when you're having a lunch date or visiting with someone. But at the end of the day, when I'm sitting there listening a little bit deeper, I'm just like, man, that's a real scarcity mindset, because how do you think you're going to accomplish those things if you've already stacked up 4 major scarcity things against it, and it really places all the blame on what society has to offer and nothing on what am I doing with myself and how can I get to this goal. Even though these things may be true, they don't control what I create and what I manifest in my life, right? So a lot of times blame can be hidden behind a scarcity mindset, because blame essentially comes from the idea that somebody had something, did something, took something that you can't retrieve back or that you can't make up for, right? So whether it's your emotional time and energy, whether it's your money, your attitude, your wisdom, or whatever it is, they misused it in some kind of way. So you blame them for some type of predicament or where you may stand in life. But what I find is that when people are truly approaching or inside of a really good spiritual awakening, because there's several levels of it, they really get to the place where they realize blaming anybody else for anything going on in their lives is a complete waste of time. It doesn't matter how right they are. They just don't have time to drag other people into their trauma. Because while you can say someone else helped you create the trauma, that doesn't mean they have to help you clean it up. While we like to think that, people don't have to help you do anything. And it's best just to know that. Another major shift that I notice outside of blame, your reluctance to blame, is the idea that Your happiness is on the inside of you and not in some inanimate object or another person or some experience. Because a lot of times we can get caught up in the idea that happiness is going to be in a relationship, it's going to be in the perfect job, it's going to be in the perfect owning a perfect business, it's going to be in having the perfect children, it's going to be in living in a perfect environment, it's going to be having the right amount of money. We can place so many labels on what our happiness is. And while these things are great to add to happiness and to be like a cherry on top to the happiness that you're already experiencing, they should never be a means to an end. It should never be treated like, if I don't get this thing, then I won't have anything. If I don't get this thing, then I can't be happy. You know, I've heard a lot of people say that when these children leave the house, then I'm gonna, I'll be happy when my favorite TV show comes back on the air. I'll be happy when my, finances increase. I'll be happy when I get the right kind of job. It's like, I hear that conversation a lot. Even my daughter has said every now and then, oh, I'll be so happy when I get, nope, that's too quick. You got to pay attention to what you're saying because you're placing your happiness on the outside of you. So that major shift that happens in a spiritual awakening is something that I've always come across. Just people getting to the place in their lives where they realize that they can't keep placing everything about their happiness and improving their lives and increasing their abundance and in evolving and having a fun experience in life is all based on something that's outside of them, right? So while it's fun to create things that are on the outside of you, to go shopping, to go traveling, to buy things that you're interested in, to drive nice vehicles, to have nice houses, all these things are cool, but we already know that they can only add to the happiness that we already have in our lives, right? So you're thinking about, ooh, am I going through a spiritual awakening? I mean, I feel something changed in me, but I don't know what, right? Like a major maturity level has been approached, has been breached. You're on the precipice, right? It's generally these two major things that I see. You don't have any desire to blame other people for your life and your predicaments of where you find yourself. And then also, you really start to realize that you are in charge of your happiness completely. A friend of mine told me that their mother said a few months ago, she's been married 4 times, I believe, that she could have made her marriage work with any of the husbands she had in the past if she would have really understood the fact that she was in charge of her own happiness. And that's a huge one for a lot of people. We could make a lot of friendships work better. We can make family relationships work better when we realize nobody's really responsible for you. And that is okay. They can do things for you. They can add to you. They can bring you beauty. They can bring you abundance. They can share things with you. But you're not entitled to them or what they have or what you think they have to offer or their apologies or anything or their forgivenesses or anything like that, right? So major spiritual awakenings, you start to shift that blame and you be like, I don't really have to blame anyone. I can just work to expand and clean this thing up now. And then the other one is you don't really spend time on happiness and trying to find happiness that's outside of who you are. Anyway, I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful day. And until next time, I hope you continue to manifest the magic in your lives. Enjoy all your experiences. And I think that's it. Enjoy Tuesday.